Good morning, everyone, and welcome to American Scousers Morning Coffee or Tea with American Scouser on a Friday morning where we are as reckless as can be. Speaking of reckless, you recklessly left the podcast last night, I noticed.
I have, so for a bit of context, I have two children at home under the age of 3 years of age, one being a 3-month-old, and let's just say they were all crying at the time. And I was just like, you know what, I've got to go and help my wife out here, kind of thing. So, yeah, I had to dip last night.
Yeah, I like tuned in like right before dinner, and then I was like, oh, well, I usually like watch it Friday during the day afterwards. And then I tuned in towards the end, and I was like, what the hell? Where did Kazi go?
Yeah, exactly. So I did have to dip in the end, but that's what kids do to you, gents. What can you do? You know?
Yes, they do. Especially, yeah. See, like that's really close too. I mean, the girls are like what 5 years apart, so that's actually kind of helped. I mean, my family. I know you have a lot of brothers and sisters, right?
I know I only have a couple of siblings, but one brother, one sister. Yeah.
What is the age difference? Because like we have a huge gap. Like my brother is 7 years older than I am, and my sister is like 10 years younger than I am.
Oh,
so
wow.
Those guys have like 17 years.
Yeah, we've got a few years. I think I can't even remember. For me and my sister, maybe 7 years between me and my sister. I think so. Yeah, and my brother's like 4 years between me. I think I can't remember.
Yeah, I see that they tiered it pretty well. You got to tier it, man, so that
I know.
I
just want to
yeah.
I just want to get them out the way so I can, in 20 years you're both out my house. Get out. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it doesn't work like that because then they wear you down even worse.
Exactly.
Okay, let's. Oh, hey, speaking of wearing people out, is what happened to the beards thing you had going?
It fell off.
He stuck his head out the window when he was driving. It flew off.
And it just fell off.
Yeah. Let's get to the headlines over here. You literally just sent this, and then we'll do the press conference as well, which I did not think there was a lot, to be honest. Like that was not groundbreaking or anything. But Crystal Palace, I made $15 million offer for Ben Doak. He's obviously on loan at like Middlesbrough right now. What do we make of this? I mean, you said, Kazi, right before we went on air, this is kind of like a reliable source for any Crystal Palace news. What do we think of this? 15 million. I don't know. I'm on the camp, but I'm not fully sold on Ben Doak physically for the Premier League.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I see
15
that.
million to me sounds like a good deal, but go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely one that the club will be thinking about, I think. I know what you're saying about physicality, then I see Harvey Elliott who can make it work and think it could, you know what I mean? I would probably accept it with a 20 million buyback clause because that kid could go
That's
on
fair.
to be, you know what I mean, like serious and go to Crystal Palace. You've had him for 2 years. You've kind of matured him. He's, scored 10 goals and 7 assists next season. We'll take him back now. Here's your 5 million for thank you for that, for the game time kind of thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's like a very low-risk loan move almost.
Basically, that's what a buyback could be, couldn't it?
Yeah.
Low risk, you know what I mean? And then if you don't want to accept it, you do like a 30 million %. But like the Solanke deal, a 30 million percentage sell-on clause for whatever you make on them. I think the kid's got a massive ceiling. And what he's done exactly what we want him to do at Middlesbrough. He's went there and been the best player. I say this all the time when players come on loan to the Championship or go on loan from Liverpool. You need to go there and be the best player. Most of the time. Harvey Elliott was the best player at Blackburn.
Yeah.
Alan Morton was really. Conor Bradley got player of the year at Bolton. You know what I mean? So you have to go there and be I am a level above this. And Ben Doak has kind of done that in a way. So interesting, I think, mate. I don't know what the club are going to do. I find it would have been easier fucking sell it, sign a 4-year deal to kind of make that decision for you as well. You know what I mean? But again, I think the club will do it, but I think there might be a sell-on clause, a buyback clause on it.
So I wouldn't take anything less than 20 million. I don't know, man. I don't see enough to say. I mean, yeah, the fact that homegrown. Well, that actually counts as like pure profit that way too when it comes to the calculations and stuff. But I mean, what is the value you put on him based on what we've seen?
We haven't seen enough to put a big price tag on him. But I don't know. 15 million in today's market doesn't sound like a lot. But again, at the same time, he's a kid who I believe has a heavy, bright future ahead of him for Liverpool.
Mm-hmm. I mean, for me though, like, I agree with that. He's the best player in Scotland as well on the last international duty. Like, he was so good for Scotland, and I'm like, when you're at 19 and you're playing so well for your international side as well. I know Scotland aren't like the elite level, but there's John McGinn there and Scott McTominay, like big players. Do you know what I mean? Are still there, and he's the best player. And it's like, I love when a young player has that attitude and arrogance about them when you just walk in and go, "I'm the best player here," and I like that.
Honestly, I'm shocked he's 19.
19 years.
I thought he was early 20s because we've been talking about him. It feels like for 3-4 years, right?
He was. I think he made I think he played in a preseason friendly. He was like 16. I think
maybe that's why. Because I mean, we've been talking about him for 3-4 years, like Salah's long-term replacement, blah blah. So I really thought he was like 21, 22 by now.
He's only just turned 19 in November. He's just turned 19 in November. So he's only just turned as well. I know. So I don't know, man. I think it's going to be super interesting for the club to make this decision. I'm into selling them to Palace. First of all, I like how Palace play. That's one thing. So if you are going to do a deal, have a buyback clause in there for 20 million or something like that. So, Palace get on the front foot. This Glasner team looks like a nice team. That it's not like you're selling to a Sean Dyche side who are just not going to give him the ball and not going to let him express himself. You're getting on the ball, a team who are attacking, who let the lad flourish in a system. So I'm into it, I am into it a little bit for that reason, though.
We got 25 for Carvalho, who's absolutely pants, says Cersei. Did he have a bigger... I mean, you had more to show, more old school tape to show on Carvalho in different levels, whereas you don't have that for Van Dijk. But I think Carvalho is like, 23 or something like that, right?
Probably now, maybe.
Carvalho, what the hell was his first name? Fabio.
22. Okay. Yeah. And the thing about Fabio, I guess when we got 25 for him, you got to think that Brentford got him with the attitude of he just hasn't played enough minutes at Liverpool. He's actually really good. When Liverpool signed him, he was the best player in Fulham, and we'll get him back there. Versus Van Dijk, who's that young raw talent who really hasn't been developed. And is he worth the 15 million? Yeah, is he worth more? I believe so. And because of his age, I think this kid's only getting better. So I'm not on board with selling Van Dijk. I wasn't on board with loaning him this season either, but here we are.
I mean, yeah, because I mean, here's the thing though. If he wasn't loaned and you didn't think, Chiesa would be ill all the time, having the sniffles going around, so he would not get any opportunity at all from that. Like, he would be the 7th option ultimately, so it's not fair for him. So it's good experience for him to get minutes. I just don't know like how much you put. Obviously Crystal Palace is putting a lot of stock into that Kazi because they are making the offer for 15, but is 15 a low ball offer at the end? If they're offering 15, Edwards is going to counter. If there is no sell-on clause, because you're selling him with a really good insurance policy. If there was none of that, if Palace is like, we'll give you guys 10% off the sell-on fee, that's all I'm doing for you. What is the price you're putting on him? Because I think with your, scenario, you can give me 5. I don't care because, I'm going to get him back for this. But without that, what is the price you put on?
I wouldn't sell him. I wouldn't sell him. It'd be over 25 at least, but I wouldn't sell him. I believe in the kid. I do. I think he's talented. He's playing for a club at the top end of the championship. You're playing for your national side at 19, being a brilliant player for them. A great option. Looks like their fucking best player for years. I just feel like if there wasn't that, I think it'd be very naive of Liverpool to sell him, really. And especially with the Salah situation. This is what I'm saying. If we know Salah's gone in 2-3 years, this kid will be 21, 22, ready to go for you.
Yeah.
He's ready to go. Oh, yeah, I've been playing 3 years at Crystal Palace and dominating. Do you know what I mean? And then Liverpool always have that insurance policy kind of thing. I think it'll be naive of Liverpool to do that. But I do think they will sell him for that of the buyback clause kind of thing and kind of say to him, it's like a fucking 3-year loan. Do you know what I mean? It's a 3-year loan. And if you're not the level that you don't think we think you are, then you can go anywhere you like and you can stay at Palace or whatever. Do you know what I mean? So
has he had injuries? I know he had. I'm just pulling up his injury history here. I know he had one with us for a while, right?
Yeah, he got injured last year, didn't he? For us, that was a bad one. That's why he went out on loan, probably to Middlesbrough.
Yeah, that was a meniscus tear, so it's not like a muscle injury or something like that. And the other one is just a concussion that, like, he was out for like 3 weeks. Looks like, yeah. So it's nothing. I mean, then again, the kid is only 19, so you can only tell like he has had like an unfortunate start with. I mean, meniscus tears, you know.
But he's played 20 games. He's played 20 games out of 25. He didn't start the last one for Middlesbrough because, again, he's a kid playing all this fucking men's football now. Do you know what I mean? Like he's getting that, in that stage. So it's interesting, man. It's really going to get Liverpool thinking. And I tell you, again, I'll go back to the main point of why it's getting them thinking. Not just because of the money, it's because the way Palace play. You're not selling them to Everton in terms of the style of football. You sell them to a team.
But when you're selling them, do you care what style they play? Yeah, unless you're doing the buyback that you're talking about.
This is my point. If you're doing the buyback, then I think it's very important who you sell them to. Yeah. And again, that's why we're very picky with loans for players. We're very picky with loans because they want them to go out and go and get to the right team who play a right style of play and things like that for them. Because you're there to mature our player kind of thing. So interesting, this one. It really is interesting.
Yeah, I mean, it will show. I mean, the Polish princess will only know once the club shows their hand because, I mean, the question isn't, is he talented? He absolutely is. The question is if they genuinely believe he's at the level. So I guess, Anand, we're going back to not that is he good? Is he good enough? Does Edwards and the gang see him as a player that will eventually be a part of the squad, whether as a starter or a rotation piece? Is he good enough? I guess we're gonna know what they think of him based on how they respond to the bid.
At this point, I'm going to take this a completely different way. At this point, I can't trust what those fucks think of anyone. I can't. They think Salah's too old. They think Verge is too old. They thought not giving Trent a contract extension a year ago is a good idea. So whatever they think, I disagree. So if they think he's good enough, listen. If they think he's good. If they think he's good enough,
this is why they didn't give him a contract offer last year.
If they think he's good enough. If they think he's good enough, I want him sold because I disagree with anything they think. I am over it. I am pissed, and I woke up and chose violence today. That's it.
Okay, if you can choose violence all you want, can we stop this fucking bullshit about they didn't value him to give contracts last season crap?
What do you mean?
Because that's not the case. These guys were not going to sign a contract last year. No, not knowing who the manager is. So can we please get this off the table?
Okay, what about 2 years ago?
Act like they were like there to sign for it.
Yeah.
3 years ago.
Also, please acknowledge nobody in their fucking right mind signs a 30-year-old player to an extension with 3 years left on their contract.
Okay, hang on a second.
Can we agree to this?
Yes,
so that we can move on from this.
But he's got 5 months left in his contract.
One second. Hang on. I know what Tim's saying. Would you have done it in the summer last year?
I would have, but would he have?
Would the club have? Why not? Jürgen Klopp is still your manager.
The club would have. Would he have?
Who? Which one? Yes.
Oh, you're saying like before
Klopp announced I think
before you're saying.
Correct. Before Klopp even announced it in November. It should have been tied off by it before then.
Probably. I mean, Trent especially. Trent, I can kind of tell. The other two, with the age, I just don't think you do. I don't think anybody in their right mind does. Like I would winter was that season, and the winter was the right time to do it. So you seal the deal before they even have a year left on their contract.
Okay, maybe Mo. I would look
because I'm leaving. So those guys are never going to sign a contract, and I don't blame him for not signing it, not knowing what's going to happen.
Maybe Mo, I'd look at him and say, okay, he's 30. Let's wait and see what happens. But Virgil, you're a defender. You're at your peak. You're only
okay. Virgil was not at his peak at the time. Let's remember, Virgil came back from the injury, and we even said initially, right? He's not back to his own pace, but he can adjust his playing style and stuff like that. Because he came back from the injury, and it was not the same Virgil.
That's your club captain.
And Virgil was our best player last season. By a mile.
That was last season. I'm talking about when you guys are saying when we'd go to
last season.
Whoa. Don't say you guys. I haven't said a word.
Wait. No, wait. I am literally saying, why didn't they do it last season before Jurgen left or before Jurgen announced he's leaving?
That's the naive part. And that's the question that the club are going to have to look at after all this is started off. They're going to have to look and go.
And that's why I feel like that was the right about freaking when Klopp said that he's leaving would be the time where we would get into it. Maybe that's why clubs is like, I'm not going into this bullshit. I'm out of here. I've had enough of this kind of a thing too.
I agree with
And
that.
you know what? Let's put it. Let's say, you know what? Nobody wanted to re-sign anybody because there's a new manager coming. You know what? I agree with you 100%. It's January 3rd. Why didn't he do anything yet?
Because it's not in the play.
Okay, it's not the same thing now.
It's not in the player's interest to sign a contract now.
Well, yeah, they've got us here. Now the talk is, okay, Trent wants this much. He wants this. Give it to him.
So if
Mo and Verge seem to have signed.
How much are you giving to Trent? Are you giving Trent like 400,000 a week?
No one's going to be more than Mo Salah and Virgil van Dijk, but I think Trent should be our third highest earner.
I think Trent should be on the same
third or fourth highest on the team, right? Third, probably.
I'd say he should be the third or on the same bar as Mo and Verge.
So going back to again, this is the position that you're in right now because you never done it last summer. This is the position you're in. So and I agree with everything you're saying. I think we should just re-sign Trent, put him as the 300 grand a week and do what he has to do for 5 years. I agree with that. We all agree that we're doing the same with Virgil and Salah. But this is the problem that the club's got themselves in. McAllister's going to knock at the door. Luis Diaz is on 60 grand a week.
Yeah.
Gravenberch is going to go, hey, I signed on a bit of a cheap deal. Now I'm your fucking best midfielder. And I want a 100k pay rise. That's your problem. Now, by the way, that's the problem that the club has got themselves into. Because what football players can do, they can swallow Virgil and Salah being your highest earners. If you're Gravenberch and you're Mac and you go, yeah, I understand that. I get that. I get that one. Not Trent. Because that's the swallow. That's the part where you've got to go, well, I think I contributed the same as him. In this team of McAllister, you could say I contribute the same, if not more, to Liverpool as Trent. So I want to be on 300 grand a week, and that's the problem that they've got themselves in because they never did it.
But you're going to be in that either way, aren't you, Kazi? Like Gravenberch, for example, is a good example. Gravenberch is going to say, "Hey, I came here as a test study. Now I'm the best business." I mean, Diaz is probably going to say, "Hey, I mean, I can go to Barcelona and get this." So you're going to get that.
Yeah, they will pay you. You're not getting registered, but you can go. But I mean, I agree with what you're saying, Tim. But my argument is here, though, mate. You can swallow the other two being in the top earners. You can, as a footy player, you go, what they've done and what they do for this team, I can get it. If you just do Trent last summer, when he doesn't ask for 300 grand a week, and get that sorted and put him on a low one, yes, you still have to give pay rises to Gravenberch and Diaz, but they're going to ask for a lot more now. It's Trent on 300 grand a week because I'd use him as a base.
But I mean, I think 300s. Okay, like let's say you can do Trent at 3, and then you would do Van Dijk and Mo probably like 350 or something like that. Which I think that would be fine, but I don't think Trent is okay with 3, and there lies the problem.
Well, okay, so that's again, you got yourself in a position where we've spoke about this before. You're going to have to eat shit and like the taste because you put yourselves in this position. So what you're going to have to do then is go. You're not going on 400. You're going to go on 300, and we'll have to give you 15 million as a sign-on fee. Yeah. So we can balance the books that way. They're going to have to do something. But again, I just can't see. The club have got themselves in this position. We all agree that the club have fucked up. The club have absolutely fucked up.
They could have probably pulled the trigger, but like I say, I keep going back to.
I agree with you. Last season
timing thing.
If I was a player, I would never sign a contract when I didn't know who the manager was. I had no idea what was going to happen. Yep. I didn't know if we were going to be top of the league or fucking fighting for the top 6.
I mean, especially Van Dijk and Mo. I can see maybe at that time Trent still considering it, but definitely not Mo and Van Dijk. Just not knowing who the manager is going to be because they only have 3-4 years left in their career. They want to know where they're going to be in those years and not going to an unknown rebuilding project with fucking in their last years.
Which is crazy. I don't think Trent would have considered it either, mainly because of the Jude connection that he's had him since last year. He's in his ear and he's in his head. We've talked about this since last year. We've talked about this since his contract ran out. We were always worried of the Jude connection that would end up leading him to Madrid. At the Euros, the joke was constantly about how, oh boy, Trent might be going to Madrid. Prior to that, that was the comments and that was the jokes. So we knew that the kid has had a plan for quite some time to explore his options. But I still think the club could have tied him down where that plan could just be an idea for maybe a latter future. The club made it easy for him. The club simply said, you know what? Come January 1st, we're fucked. And
this is why we're here. I don't like Trent's approach to this whole thing.
So a lot of the rumors are it's his brother. I don't know nothing about the kid or his.
Always that, but I mean, this whole thing that happened this week does not happen unless it's coming from Trent's camp, right? Okay. which means Trent is basically trying to soften his own blow and his own image by like trying to so that Liverpool gives something for him because.
Okay.
And I agree with this, mind you. Like people saying, like, oh, he owes it to the club to make them some money and stuff. I don't necessarily agree with that. He's a professional, but the way he's going about it, where it clearly looks to me this week that because why would Real? I know they can use a right back now, but they would have easily waited and not pay anything. It's almost like he's trying to soften the blow, and while the other two have come out a bunch of times and saying, I want to stay, but we'll see what happens. Trent constantly says, we'll see what happens. Didn't talk about it in the public in the past. You know what I mean? Like, you don't get the same vibe that I don't get the same vibe.
Let me say this. Did you see the Mo Salah interview that was posted yesterday?
Yes.
Did you see his comment about Trent?
Which one? The one that he doesn't say anything?
They said, who are your best friends in football? He said, my best friends in football are Temikas, Szoboszlai, and he names them, and he goes, I love Trent, but he doesn't talk. He never ever talks. We're in front of him, blah 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 blah, and he doesn't say a word. The opposite of Robertson, he talks too much.
Yes,
Trent seems to be just a well-kept guy, whether it's a media thing or
when you're asked a question, he answers it, and the way he answers it, that's what I'm saying.
He's smart. He wants Madrid to show interest. I mean, come on, he's a professional.
I understand that.
He's a professional.
Part of this, and I get Tim. It's a great point. I actually think that Real Madrid did get the nudge from Trent, let's say, or his camp. That I think that could be possible. Is it possible though that Real Madrid are just trying it? Like they're just trying to sign it, and then Trent could go back to him and go, "What the fuck are you playing at? I told you I'm not leaving now. Yeah, but we need the right back. Yeah, but I told you I'm not leaving. I want to win the league. I want to win the Champions League. Yeah." Do you think that's possible? That they've kind of not went behind his back as such, but it's more like, fuck it. Let's just try our hand and do the bully tactics. Is that possible?
It's and with Madrid, it's also possible that they're just testing the water to let everybody know, yeah, we're interested in this guy. Yeah, we're gonna get this guy. It's Florentino Perez. I mean,
they're showing Trent how interested they are. We're so we're not only getting you because you're on a free. We would even pay for you.
Of course, but which means, but again, I'm just thinking now, if I'm Trent, and again, we already know the situation he's in. Say if he just wants to go to Madrid, leaving now just doesn't make sense to me. I've had a good think about this last couple of days. It just doesn't make any sense to leave now when you've got the Premier League and the Champions League and you're playing for, if you want to go and play for them, no problem. But there's also parts, let's just say, we all say, Trent seems like a smart kid anyway to me. Is there any chance he's just leading around with it though? To the club, to Liverpool, to go, I'm just going to lead them on. Look, I've got another option, fella, don't worry about me. And then gets his money that he wants anyway. Is that possible? So I think so.
See, I'm okay
my biggest possibility.
I'm okay with that. That's what agents do, and that's what a good agent should do for you, right? I just, even when you listen to Mo's interview yesterday, which I was going to ask you guys a few questions about that, but yeah, even when you listen to Mo's interview yesterday, how he talks about Slot and stuff like that, I still see a guy, as he talks, a guy who wants to stay, really likes where he's at and is happy where he's at.
Also a guy that dislikes Jurgen Klopp.
Yes, that's he is very pleasantly surprised and is having the best time of his life is what I got out of that interview. Like, it's
one of the best managers ever. He's very straightforward. He doesn't sugarcoat anything, and he says what he wants to say directly. He doesn't hide any. Like, the disgust in his face as he's saying all this. I'm like, Jesus, man, what did he do to you?
He said, I thought that was like, I don't know if you watched this, Kazi, but he said something about I'm paraphrasing, but that Slot does not have an ego and will admit when he's wrong and make changes. Yeah. I took that as like a major
100%.
And that's fair. That's fair enough. And I get that. I get that point.
I see a guy overall, like, I don't care what he thinks about Klopp and stuff like that. But I mean, I honestly, if Klopp was still around, I would think Mo is gone, to be honest with you. That's one of the reasons I feel like he seems a lot happier guy right now.
It's hard to say. I don't know. Listen, I suppose people and coaches and us fall out all the time and again to disagree. Do you know what I mean? Do you remember the one in the Super Bowl with Travis Kelce where he's screaming in Andy Reid's face and it looks fucking horrific and he's coached them for years and it looks awful on TV, but you have that respect for each other. Do you know what I mean?
It's like an American football reference. So proud.
It's just. I thought it was.
I thought it was interesting. Reference, but there we are. Yeah.
It's interesting the timing because last year at West Ham we saw what happened with Mo. And then they asked him prior to the game, last year wasn't so pleasant over here. He just kind of cracked up and he kind of brushed it aside. Didn't even mention it. He said, this year we will be better. And he kind of moved on. I just thought his interview.
He said, by the way, they told him that in the locker room as well.
Virgil mentioned
yeah. They tried to fire him up like, hey, by the way, haha. Like,
You know what happened here? You fuming?
Yeah. No, but another thing I liked, in that interview, Mo talks about learning Spanish. And he's like, you learn Spanish. He's like, yeah, I don't want to live in Spain. It's just he just wanted to shut that down so quick. No, I do not want to live in Spain. Don't. And the guy's like, okay, I didn't say anything.
If I did that, I might have to get like a lawsuit or something. So that was pretty good. I like that.
No, it's just he says that right away. He's telling the media, don't even try this shit. Nope, I'm staying here. Has nothing to do with the Barcelona interest. Let's cut it right there. And I thought that was great.
It's interesting. It is. It's going to be interesting the next few weeks, mate. But as I say, I just think I've kind of had a little think about this with the Real Madrid thing and stuff like that. And by the way, the same people saying it's Madrid tactics. Madrid have just asked about a football player. Are they not allowed to do that? They can't go to a club and ask
it's legal now, so why the hell not?
Well, it's legal anyway. Crystal Palace have been to Liverpool.
Do you guys agree for it to be legal when these teams can still face each other in European Cups?
Yeah. Still should be legal. Foreign clubs, why not?
Yeah, no, I just wait till
always the player getting fucked. It's always the player getting fucked. So why can't the player sort out his future? In 5 months, why can't the player sort out his future and go, I've got a family to feed?
I don't know. I mean, if he signs the contract for Real, let's say, right now, which I don't think is happening, by the way. But anyway, if he does, and then we meet him in semifinals or something like that, that's fucking awkward.
That's what you get yourself into. Actually, that's the club's fault. That's Liverpool's fault.
Yeah. No, I'm not talking about. I'm not talking about in general. When you sign a player and then he's yours, but now he's playing against you.
Thibaut Courtois played for Atletico when he was on loan at Chelsea. Played against Chelsea, knocked them out. When he's on Atletico, just footy,
I mean, historically speaking, any player that leaves Liverpool the next 2 seasons against Liverpool, they're absolutely shit. But that's pretty irrelevant. The thing here, the report that could be true, could not be true. It is, rumor mill season that Trent wants to stay. Sure, 400,000 has to become club captain in the future. This second option, we already know that's the case.
No, doesn't make any. What that report was a load of garbage. He wants a minimum of 3 years. First of all, years are not a problem for Trent. You're going to get 6 if you want it. And number 2, he wants to be the club captain. We know you're the club captain. You're the vice now. You're the club. It's fine. That's like saying, oh my God, Trent wants some fresh air in this contract. Well, yes, of course he wants fresh air.
So bringing that into debate, everybody's like, guy, he's the vice captain at his age now. In 2 years or 3 years, whenever Verge is gone, we know, who's the local kid, who deserves to be captain, who's gonna be captain. So that shouldn't be in the debate. I think the debate now is how much money is the club gonna give him versus what Real Madrid's offering. Because the thing about Real Madrid, they'll give you anything on a weekly wage because they know they're gonna make that money. So the thing that stresses me out is we'll give him 400, sure, but is Madrid giving him 450 or 500? It's kind of like the PSG Salah talk. So like, we'll pay you 500, and they're willing to make him the highest paid ever player when it comes to their salary wage. And is that something? This is where, to me, it's mentality. Mo versus Trent. Does Mo care about the weekly wage? He sure does, but I don't think he gives a fuck about being the highest paid player because he's got numbers and records to break. He's set on that. It's straightforward. He's set on that.
I disagree.
For Trent, is it the money? Is it the idea of being in Spain? Or is it simply his weird relationship with Jude Bellingham that's making him do this?
I think this is part of this, right, as well. Right. First of all, I actually think for Salah, it is about being a highest paid player because I think that's a respect part. That's just my
That's
opinion.
more the respect part, yeah. I mean, he would be anyway. They're not going to be getting less than Trent.
Unless we all need to put this into consideration as all the fans do. This is Trent's last biggest contract he will ever sign. This is it. You're 26. If you sign a 5-year deal, you're 31. It's going to be rare that you're going to be having the same amount of years and the same amount
We'll be having this conversation in 5 years.
Yeah, hopefully. But then, Joe's in the strongest position out of all this. Canate.
Yeah.
Laughing his fucking tits off. 18 months to go. Laughing his tits off.
Yeah.
Going, okay. Go on, Trent. Go. I'll be nudging him and training him. Going after 10k more. Because I can go and get a fucking lovely pay rise because I'm 23, 24 and I'll be your best fucking centre half in 18 months. And what are you going to give me?
Yeah, a couple of pundits have him in their team of the season. He's missed a couple of games here and there. Like the kid is like, you guys sort this shit out, and I'll
I think the issue is that's the one that you should be kind of sealing the deal on now. But you're working on these instead. That's like the snowball effect of this entire mess. But here's the thing with Trent. I mean, Madrid is going to pay him more anyway because they're ultimately saving, I don't know, buying a new person for 40, 50 million release clause so they can split that into wages. But I honestly still say, in terms of a business decision, if they say like, no, Trent is making a business decision, he's going to get $100,000 more a week or whatever. As somebody from Liverpool, Kazi, don't you think in the long term, it's a better business decision for Trent to be a all Liverpool guy the entire time, as opposed to, possibly, I mean, definitely to a certain extent, possibly to a bigger extent, tarnishing his reputation and not being that guy moving forward. He can come back and he can bottle his farts in Liverpool and make more money than is going to be like, you know what I mean? Like he's going to be the guy. He's going to be a Liverpool god, still like Stevie G.
But I mean,
is that really worth an extra 100,000 a week or whatever? When you come to business and think long term, short term, yeah.
And that's the chat that you have to have with yourself as a man. Like, what do you want? The one thing I always think about this is that it's a short career. It really is a short career. So it depends what you want. I don't think if it's money and stuff like that, I understand. By the way, I don't question anyone going out there to make money in a career like what they do.
Oh yeah,
I really don't. I don't care what they go and do in contracts. I don't. If you need to go out and go and get paid, I have no idea what your upbringing is. Who relies on you to bring home a penny? Do you know what I mean? I don't know. That's when it was like that big thing with the remember the Chinese league and all the Brazilians were going over there. Like Oscar went there, and is it Teixeira or someone went over there to play for 10 years? And they're like, because they're fucking from the slums, man. You have no idea what they've come from, and then they're getting off with all this money. Can you blame them? So it's like, in terms of the Trent scenario, though, I have no idea what he wants in terms of that sense. I just think it's more. It's hard, but I tell you right now, if you're Trent, you're not going to get the respect at Real Madrid as you would at Liverpool, and the love and the adulation. I think he knows that a little bit, because my God, man, you can get hung out to dry in 6 months at Real Madrid. Like, don't get me, they can hang you out to dry, and that's something he has to consider as well. I am actually at this stage now, though, gents, where it could just be a flirting tactic. I don't know why I've come to this agreement in my head in the last few days, that it just could be a flirting tactic with Real Madrid. I'll just keep flirting with them, and I'll get what I want in the end. And if he does, and he signs a deal for 5 years at Liverpool, fair play to him. Fucking fair play. You know what I mean? You showed a bit of leg to Real Madrid. Do you know what I mean? You tempted the eyes and all that. You flashed your eyelashes.
Doesn't that make, I don't know, man. It bugs me. I hope you're right. I mean, I want Trent to sign, but doesn't that, if you're going to have your camp, go and pull this shit. If don't happens. Go to the West, don't celebrate in the West Ham game like this.
But we don't,
when you're starting this, your camp is doing this.
If we don't know. We don't know if Real Madrid are just chancing their arm and go, fuck it, we're just going to try. We're not getting much back off him in terms of what he wants and shit like that. We're just going to try and sign him.
Which one is more likely, though? I mean, we don't know. We're never going to know.
He's more likely to stay. Honest to God, he's more likely to stay.
I don't know. That's the reason for the bid. Which one is more likely? That somebody in Trent's camp. I mean, it could not be Trent himself, but somebody in the camp gave the green light.
I'll come up with the conclusion that I think it's Real Madrid, not Trent. At first, I was all Trent, but now I've come up with the conclusion it's Real Madrid. Because I just don't see why you'd leave now with the Premier League and Champions League on the line. If you're all about success and wanting to win all these trophies, and Liverpool in the best place to win both, including the league.
It was going to be more of a 20 million, and then he's our player next year. Nobody hates on him for leaving for nothing, and all that kind of stuff.
No.
I still, again, opinion, not fact, but I still think Trent is playing the line to see what could happen. Because remember, he hasn't said a word. He's not somebody that said anything. This way, when hearing news and he stays, I never said anything. This is the media. And all I said is the media is going to talk, and I'm just waiting for my contract offer. This is where I am on this. There's two reasons. One, obviously, he's the local kid, and he is future captain, all this good stuff. Two, I don't think Trent is capable of dealing with the Spanish media. And I know that's something the kid has in the back of his head. You make one mistake in a game that Trent tends to do, the Spanish media will leave you out to dry. The Spanish reporters, Marca and all these guys, will be outside of your house filming every move you make, and as soon as you come out, you're gonna hear garbage, trash. This is literally what the Spanish media does. They've done this to they did this to Vinicius Jr. when they first signed him, and he wasn't as exciting as he is now. David Beckham, my goodness. All the articles about Beckham being just a pretty boy were unbelievable. I mean, Beckham was so sick of it. He's like, you know what? Send me to Milan. I don't care. Send me anywhere. I'm okay with this. The Spanish media is very ruthless. The only person that knew how to deal with the Spanish media was the one, the only Jose Mourinho. But other than that, these aren't people, somebody with the mental capacity like Trent, an emotional kid, is going to be able to deal with them. He doesn't want to go there. I know the idea is there. I know it's interesting. I know Jude Bellingham is there. But even Jude Bellingham's getting shit on by the Spanish media right now.
Yeah. This season,
like,
exactly.
Yeah, like,
you can kind of tell. I mean, yeah, if anything, Bellingham should be like, dude, when the shit goes down, though, holy cow. When you're good, they love you. When you're not, I mean, that's anywhere, I guess. But he's not going to get the, he's
heroes.
not going to get the benefit of the doubt as much as he gets in Liverpool. It's not going to be like, when he's not there to defend, sometimes people make an excuse for him. None of those are going to be there. He's going to be thrown under the bus.
You know what's crazy? When he makes one of those beautiful passes and Mbappe gets it and scores it, guess who's going to get the headlines?
Yeah.
It won't be Trent. For us, we glorify his assists and passing, and we share him and we talk about him. In Spain, they just want Mbappe to do well. That's all they care about. They don't give a shit about anybody else in that team. They want Kylian Mbappe to go out there and do his thing so they can say, we signed the best player in the world on a free transfer. And then they follow it up with Trent on a free transfer.
Trent leaving in January compared to Owen leaving, better or worse, Kazi?
He left in January. Worse, probably. Not if he leaves in the summer, not as bad. I'd always put Owen a little higher. It's more because Owen played for United, but at the time, Rafa kind of alienated Owen. He flew to the England camp, met with Gerrard and Carragher, and I think it could have been Danny Murphy who was there at the time. I think Murphy left that summer, and he didn't speak to Owen. He just didn't even speak to him. He was just like, yeah, no, I'm good. I've got fucking the Djibril Cissé through the door. It was a Houllier signing, but he was already pre-contracted, funny enough. And I'll tell you why I think it's worse now, Trent leaves, because we are the best team.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest part. Yeah.
I sit there and I said this last night on the Thursday podcast a little bit. I look at this and think, well, it could take City 3 years to come back. Arsenal never got over 90 points. Saka's injured. You could win the league for the next 3 years. You can be the favourites for the league for the next 3 years. If Liverpool go out and sign 2 players in the summer, a nice centre mid and a right back, you'd half look and go, or maybe a striker, and you half look and go, fucking hell, this is like a super team. That's what you get into that stage. If Liverpool go out and do Kirkes, Zubamendi, and Isaac, fuck off Darwin Núñez, you know what I mean, and then go get rid of Robertson and things like that. Before you know it, you've got a super team around you. That's what I don't get. It's a bit like when Alonso left. That's what broke me out with Alonso. He gets great PR, Alonso, by the way. Before, he left when Liverpool we got 86 points, finished second under United, and you're like, okay, can we kick on now? And then we set back 5 years. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't want to be have to do a reset again. By the way, I don't think we will. If Virgil and Salah, I don't think we need a reset, far from it. But I just where do you think you're going? If you go to Real Madrid, okay, I don't think they have a better chance than Liverpool win the Champions League or the Premier League. Well, of course, not the Premier League, but the league title. Liverpool could dominate the league for the next 3 years if you just make the correct signings. We all agree with that. Again, Pep Guardiola leaves in 18 months. City could have a 100-point deduction and get out of here. And before you know it, there's no challenger. Because I don't consider an Arsenal challenger, by the way. So I that's why I think it'll be worse.
I think with Alonso, you can at least be like, oh, he's Spanish, blah, blah, blah. Like with Trent, there's none of that. So I feel like it makes it worse. Yeah. You're leaving your boyhood club while it's at its peak in literally every fucking level. It makes no sense.
That's why I don't think it's true when you have a chance to win you always said you want to win the Premier League in front of fans. That's why I don't think it's true that you want to leave now. That's why I do think it's Real Madrid chancing their arm in January.
The tricky thing is, it's almost like you can't. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna play this out, but you can't just, even if you have deals almost set with Mo and Van Dijk and stuff like that, you can't really announce those two and not Trent and stuff like that. So it kind of puts you. I did not even want to get to this thing, but Anand pissed me off first thing in the morning. So here we are.
40 minutes later.
We're playing United on the weekend, Fuck's sake.
Weekends, United's. I mean, you guys know, we talked about this with Causes several times. This is the game for me because I don't want to hear from my brother and stuff like that. Anything that worries you about this game?
No.
Ozzy?
No.
Like, so I worry about last year. A game like last year.
I don't think the manager changed his tactics like that, like they did. Like Ten Hag came in and took his 0-0 and got his 0-0. I don't think he'll do it. I think he has to stick to his principles. He keeps saying this. He said it's going to be painful. It's going to be hard. I'm going to have to go through the shit. He keeps saying all this kind of stuff, and I think he's just going to do the same thing again. And we need to treat them like the 14th in the league, because that's where they are. You've got to go. You're playing the team who are 14th. Yeah, Tim, I'm going to ease your concerns. You're playing against the team who are 14th in the league at all. If I said to you it was a different name in the 14th in the league, you'd go, we'll beat these easy. That's how you'd feel to yourself. It's because you're United and you've got these scars. They beat us once in 13 in the league.
Especially the way they play, right? Not only their 14th, but the way they play.
The wide open. He's not going to do Casemiro and Eriksen again in the centre mid. That was fucking suicide. Yeah. Against, by the way, the strongest centre midfield three that you could ever put together in Bruno, fucking Tonali, and Joe Linton are the three strongest centre midfielders.
You think that was him saying, well, this is what we got when these two guys are out?
I think it's him not trusting Mainu. I think Mainu looks fat. I think he's put some timber on. I don't think he looks fit. I think he needs to get in shape again. I think the kid looks like he's played 1,000,000 minutes and he's like 21.
So you're saying there is no way that they can get something out of this game for United?
No. Not even close.
But are you expecting a massacre like everybody else?
No. But I think it'll be like a comfortable 3-0 win or something like that. I think it'll be more the fact of like for Liverpool in terms of I think old wounds could open. I think if Liverpool score in the first 10, there's players on that pitch who've been battered 7-0 at Anfield. And if you score one, I think, do you know what I mean? I think it gets in the head of like, fuck me, this can't happen again. Do you know what I mean? Like, we cannot let this happen again. And Liverpool just win 3-0 comfortably. And by the way, I think United would shake hands on 3-0 in a weird way and go, just don't whack us. If Liverpool score in the first 5 and you just shake hands on 3-0 now and go, yeah, okay. So please do not whack us. So I think there's a part of that conversation as well. I just think for me, there's lads on that pitch who are learning a new system and they've won beat us once in 13. They haven't beat us in Anfield in 9 years. Like, it's a really good record we got at the moment.
All these things scare me even more. How about you, Anand? Do you see a scenario where this can be not as expected?
I mean, this is solely on the way United play. No, just solely on the way they've been playing. It's a no. Can we go back to the attitude? Well, but at the end of the day, it's United. Really? Can we? Like, is there any reason that signifies that at the end of the day, it's United? I mean, Kazi said it best. They're 14th in the league. They should be treated that way. If that was, if that was Leicester or if that was Palace, hey, they're 14th in the league. Let's just go out there and win this game. Historically speaking, sure. But do we really need to talk history right now? Historically speaking, City have dominated the league. Here we are. So I wouldn't look at this United game as one of those games where like, oh my God, anything could happen. Just a matter of how good could it be for us? Like, how well can we look? And how bad are they going to look after 45 minutes if they're down 2-0 or 3-0? That's really it. Rashford's already out of the game. He said he's not involved. The team is already struggling. Is Bruno back?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is good news. Yeah. I mean, what are we worried about?
I'm happy.
Yeah. What are we worried about? Bruno's back at 2-0. He'll start walking around. Midfield is open. And honestly, just how do we come out? Konate, just watched the videos. Konate's in training. He's okay. I don't think he'll start, but that's another good sign. The club has said Chiesa's staying. He's not going anywhere. He's probably going to make the bench. How are we going to look in that game? Are we going to do some of those silly tests where we put a winger in here or that? Are we going to line up the way we lined up last week? Just put out your strong 11, go out and get the game. Yes, you do go with Diaz up front. Yes, you do go with Gakpo on the left. You just go the way you played last week. You do that, we see what happens.
Mateusz says the days of rivalry is gone. The rivalry is there for the fans, but players don't have that same sort of hatred for them.
That's Mo Salah.
But for United at the same time, they know in a shitty season the way it is, a decent result from this game will give them a month of peace.
Of course, and I get that as well, but I don't think they have a choice. This is what I'm saying. Sometimes they go, "Oh, United can come in and do this." Yeah, but they won't have a choice. Liverpool just beat you. So, because we're better than you, and that's how we got to treat them with the disdain that they are. This is a team we've won 6 all year, and 19 games. 6 out of
So
19.
do you approach, if you're a Liverpool player, if you're Slot and stuff, do you approach this as, hey, this is a rivalry, these guys actually can be good, don't treat them like the 14th in the league, or do you treat them like the 14th in the league?
So with complete disdain of how dare you be on our football pitch, how dare you even try and get the ball off us? Like, you're not meant to do this. When they even approach to come into our half, you fucking clean them out and go back into your little fucking sheep and give me my ball back. And you treat them with the disdain that they deserve to be treated with. I just checked them. We've conceded 16 goals in the last 7 games.
Yeah, we lost 7 in a row.
Right? They can't stop conceding from corners. Everyone just scores corners against them. What a weird... By the way, what a weird thing that you've got to work on. Can people stop people from scoring corners against us? What a weird thing.
And
it's not like... It's not even random, but it's not like you don't go out there and be complacent. You go out there and go, this is how legends are made in this game, of course, but they're also not very good, and I want you to play your football. Do you know what I mean? I want you to get on your ball. You don't play to their tune. You play to what they play to our tune.
Yeah.
And that's how you've got it. That's how you've got to sit. You consider it, mate. But also, I don't think that this Liverpool team would let the level be any different. Under Slot, we're going for the league title. I don't think, by the way, Arsenal could be 1 point off us if they beat Brighton on Saturday. Do you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? Okay, they're breathing over your neck again. There's the level up again. So, I think it's going to be fine. I really am. But...
And it's crazy. You're talking about corners. Amorim is not going to say, don't let them score off of corners. He would say, don't let them score the corners. And that's such a new way to coach. Guys, they can't score the corner. When you play Arsenal, guys, don't let them score set pieces. But when he plays Arsenal, don't let them score the set pieces. And I think this is the funniest thing ever.
We're going back to the team though, Tim, because we mentioned with the Canate's back in training and that, right? He has a big decision to make, and I've mentioned this before. I think this is how managers work. I think they worry about the next games and then pick the team for this game. We have Spurs away in the cup, and then you have Accrington Stanley. You probably want to get 70 into Canate at Accrington in a weird way, because like Canate probably does 70 there. You need to get him ready for Forest away, and we all agree that he's taking a team of monsters there to Forest. He wants to be Forest more than win the Premier League. If you ask him,
by the way, how long Gomez is out for within this transfer?
A few weeks, he said. A good few weeks.
So it's just okay. So you just
probably at least 2 months. I would say at least 2 to 3 months, probably. So he's out. So there's an argument. You do Kwanzaa now, Van Dijk. You probably get 20 out of Canate at Spurs, 70 out of Accrington, starting for Forest. Do you know what I mean? I think that's how you build them up, kind of thing. But it'll be interesting because we have no centre halves. We have 2.
Yeah, obviously. I mean, that's what I mean. If he's out for an extended time, that's almost a need now because you don't have the depth over there. But yeah, I mean, Kwanzaa should be starting. You would think Konate, if he's practicing today, will be on the bench because he said both of them are practicing with the team today.
Konate has to go on the bench. He hasn't got a choice.
Yeah. And then you would play. I mean, same thing goes for Bradley probably too. You would play him in that game to get some minutes and stuff like that. So to get him back to fitness, which kind of works in a good kind of way in a fixture like that. But okay, prediction time. Anan, let's start with you. What do you expect? I guess, as always, it's the predictions that scare me more than anything else. Yeah. People are like 11-0, 7-0. I'm like, whenever we say that, it fucking collapses. So
yeah, I'm gonna keep it a very simple. I think just based on their performances, based on the way we've come out in the last few games, I'd be okay with like a 3-0, 4-0. That just makes sense. Just based on trends. So not a prediction of this is what's going to happen, but based on trends of the last few weeks, United losing 7 in a row, conceding goals for fun, I'd say 3-0, 4-0.
You're sticking with the 3-0.
Yeah, just a comfortable 3-0 win. I just feel like we allowed too much for them. I just don't see how they can stop us. And I know because you're a perennial worrier that you worry about the opposition, and I get that, but I just don't think how they can stop us. So if this is a United podcast, for example, what are they saying about Liverpool? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, that's the other. But we're saying about United going, well, Garnacho could turn it on and he can, surprise you or whatever. And what are they saying about Liverpool? Then?
I think one thing I have faith in terms of this game is Amorim playing a normal game and not saying, hey, this is a game that we don't want to get hammered in and play defense and then just park the bus and stuff. He's more about right now, based on what he's done so far, he's trying to do these are my standards. These are like my principles. And, so you can't just come to Anfield and be like, okay, except this week where we're just going to park the bus. Right. So he's still going to play He's going to try to play, and that's when they try to play, we're a much better team, and that's why we should beat him.
And this is a manager who came out after last game and said, "This is my fault." He straight up said, "What's happening is my fault. The team was supposed to improve. They haven't improved, so I take blame for it. We'll get better next game." So this is a manager that's actually going to come out here and some way, somehow try to get a win.
The manager's right. The manager's right in what he's saying, and I agree with you. He's come out saying he's wrong, and I agree with what you're saying. I didn't want to interrupt you, but it was like, it's more the fact of he can't change principle because he has to show the sporting director what he needs.
Yeah.
They go, this is how I play.
I think that's why Casemiro and what's-his-face played. They're like, this is what we got. When these guys
this is what I need. Like, I need a centre-half who can do this. Go and find it. I need a left wing-back who can play like this. Go and find it. So he has to stick to his principles. Because, first of all, you're in January. So, like, you can get 1 or 2 in to really improve you. I don't count United out for the Europa League at all. I really don't count them out for the Europa League. Don't be surprised they're playing Champions League football. It's just the most weird thing that could happen, that they could just win the Europa League and just play Champions League next year. Do you know what I mean? It really gives them that kickstart. So it'll be interesting, mate. But again, I think the manager has to do that. But I don't think I think what they can do at their very best is not good enough to beat Liverpool.
Yeah, I just don't, like I say, on paper, I don't see anything based on like what Anand is saying too. Like, you look at the trends, if it was any other team that wasn't United, you'd be like, I mean, this is not that much different than the Leicester game. And you would argue that they're in a much worse psychological state than Leicester, for example. So, but like I say, the whole United thing and the fact that I worry for it as a lifestyle always is a concern. But I do agree with you, Kazi, that if we get an early goal, this is a team that's going to throw. I mean, the towel is already up. They're just waiting to throw it. So if you get the goal, they're just going to throw it. Yep.
Martinez Maguire was sent off for the 7-0. It could, like, genuinely, they just go, please do not get battered. Please. That's all they're asking for.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I see from the United fans. They're just like horrified. But, that's what United fans do. I worry about, like, going back to last year, what was like 34 shots or something like that, and we did not get a goal in. But this team is in much better form, and I think Z was saying it in the comments earlier. We're going to go out with our like ideal 11, and I think we're a much better team.
And Darwin Núñez won't start, which is handy.
That's another right, Anand. And Szoboszlai will start. So
after those 34 shots.
Yeah, honestly, who gives a fuck? As long as Szoboszlai starts, we're just fine.
What's the Darwin Núñez like an AC Milan posts? I think it's hilarious. I don't even think he realised. I think he's just like, oh, it's red kit, Liverpool.
Yeah, that's honestly what I think happens. Oh, Liverpool, and that's really what I think. That's really what I think happened. That's really what I think.
Oh my god, it's a red kit.
Yeah, okay, another good thing. Szoboszlai's back. He's had 11 days of rest, 10 days of rest. I think this could be good for somebody that's going to press all game long.
Yep.
I'm very excited for a United game where I'm not extremely stressed out, and I was just looking at the results.
I know.
I was just
them all the time.
Yeah, I'm looking at the results. They conceded 3 at home to Bournemouth. This is and then
these are all things that fucking scare me. Work, god damn it. Okay,
don't be scared.
Seriously, Tim, is this the worst United side you've ever seen?
Probably.
It's the worst one in 30 odd years.
Form-wise, I mean, in the past, at least they would have like Rashford up there. You're like, you never know, Rashford could do something or something like that, right? I mean, they don't even have him now. Really, if you think about it, he's kind of coming and gotten. I know why, but like his most dangerous players when suddenly if they were on a counter or something like that. But one, I don't think we are as susceptible to the counter, and two, they really don't have those players. Garnacho comes off the bench. He was kind of like a thorn on our side, right? Like when he had the ball on a counter or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't see Xerxes being able to, outpace
to play
dangerous
against the team. So that's the only thing. But the overconfidence always worries me.
It's not that overconfidence.
There you go.
I just don't think they can beat us. I don't think that them at their best can beat Liverpool. Like, I just don't. It's just not this Liverpool, mate. Like, we're so much more organised and so much more.
Yeah.
Cold killer type of team. Like when we get a chance, like sometimes in Liverpool, I used to worry about Klopp when we're on top in games, like please score. Now when we're on top, like we will score. It's like a guarantee that score when you're on top. And I think Liverpool do that a lot. We did it again with West Ham last week. It took a little bit of time, then we scored. It was like bang bang, and then a 3-0 down at halftime.
Yeah, even though like I always said, I said it in the post match too. Like if you just watch the highlights and said, "Oh, like that bounced and fell in front of Diaz and stuff," as you were watching the game, you were like, "It's just a matter of time." Is what you said. Steve says if they hold us to 2 goals, that'll be a moral victory for United, which I agree. They will. If you gave United fans 2-0 right now, they would take it and run with it.
If you gave them a 3 Salah goals, I'm seeing their tweets on Twitter. I know it's a funny trend, but they're all quoting the Salah pictures and like, take your hat trick and just please don't show up. Take the 4 goals and call it quits. You know what? Your 3 goals and yellow card for taking your shirt off are guaranteed. Can we stop at that? And that's their own fans saying all these things. So it doesn't worry me. But 3 things are guaranteed with Slot. Like like Kazi said, we'll score when we're up. We'll make the changes if something is wrong, and we'll get Endo in the last 7 minutes to end the game. So I think we're in good hands on this one.
Well, I mean, we'll be back obviously for the pre-match once the lineups come out. I don't think there's going to be any big surprises in that lineup. I mean, really, we're assuming Diaz. It would be Diaz or Nunez in the middle. Apart from that, I don't expect. I mean, these guys had a full week off. Ultimately, they haven't played. They wouldn't have not played since Sunday. So. We'll be here for that. Do tune in.
Wait, sorry. I have to ask now that you mentioned that. With Lisandro, starting center back, would starting Nunez be a good idea? Get a big body in there to get the headers.
The answer's never been let's start Nunez.
Yeah, I don't think I got any question. Here's the thing, because Diaz will give those 2 a much bigger fits. Trying to find out where Diaz is, Maguire and Martinez, than anything else.
I'm really excited for the post-match after Accrington Stanley when Nunes scores a hat-trick to Hernan going, I told you! Yeah.
He's back!
He's back, baby. That's his level. Yeah.
I hate my life. Okay,
yeah,
let's go back to the closing statement.
Yeah, I'm going with the 3-0 as well, by the way. I do have overall, but
not conceding.
When's the last time you backed the best to get a clean sheet?
I know, right? I don't know. The confidence is what worries me. Let's put it.
Yeah. Okay, if he is confident, now I'm worried.
Welcome to my life. But hey, we'll see you guys Sunday. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll meet for the pre-match. Take care.